Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pilo, I am your host, and if you are joining us for the first time, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're wondering what is this channel about, well, this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. I start the conversation and it continues down on the comment section below. So make sure to leave your comment down on the comment section and to like this video so that YouTube can spread it to more people like you, and subscribe and be part of this community. Speaking of the community, shout out to you guys who are returning subscribers, and today's special shout out goes to Khosi, the God in me. So yesterday I seemed a bit down, I was tired, so then he asked how I was. So it's good to people are not just watching my content, but they also care about my well-being. So shout out to you, Khosi, and for anyone who is contributing and is commenting on this channel, I'll keep on giving you shout outs, and but video by video that I release, I'll keep on giving shout outs. Now today we are talking about a lot of things. We will start with Indabaga Ufo Johnson. So we saw in Davenuguti, apparently Ufo Johnson, a 19-year-old free agent who was playing for Stellenbosch, is training with Chiefs. The significant thing with this thing is the fact that he's a striker and he's young and he's a free agent. I have never liked to hear three words like this: Elandelana, free, striker, young. And the Maktuage, he was apparently involved in like a what's the game? A friendly match against the senior team during the weekend. So it would be good. I've not seen him play, but the fact that there is a person who's just an additional natural striker in the team is good. There will be a question, why is he a free agent at 19? Why did Stellenbosch not renew his contract? I mean, they just released Ashley Dupree, so they should have held on to him if he was that good, you know. No. But if Chiefs saw something in him, then I trust him, because he parted ways with Stellenbosch. That could mean a lot of things. It could mean they booted him. It could mean just a contract it could mean he saw Guti wasn't like aligned. It could also be Guti's from Joburg. I don't know. So I would not jump into conclusions about why he left Stellenbosch. But I'm glad we have a striker who's a backup. I am happy with that. Now, speaking of strikers, ngifuna sikhulume about this guy. Introducing free agent George Mpule, the top goal scorer in the Tanzanian NBC League with 17 goals, currently searching for a new home in South Africa. This is him. He is a free agent. He's from Tanzania and he's 29, ages on his side, and he is a striker. You know, the significant thing about these agents is the fact that they are the same agents that brokered the deal between Yusuf Martin and Chiefs. And if you have a striker who was a top goal scorer in the Tanzanian Premier League or free and is open to coming to South Africa, should I also say or free again? And not to mention, the Chiefs has 5 slots available for foreign players, so he could just come in and slot in. And manje ngeke kube naleyo pressure because sekuno Dupree, and if u4 is there, u4 ukhona, uBilliat ukhona, and then naye uzoba is 4. I would be glad to see him, because for njengamanje there's a player that I will talk about. If ebe top goal scorer kwi Tanzanian Premier League eno Yanga SC, kusho ukuthi he knows what he's doing, he knows how to score goals. Obviously there would be a question ukuthi why would a top goal scorer be let go? But then I would say, if there is not enough money, we have seen players living on a free transfer even though they were good. Like look at Chelsea, for instance, Antonio Rudiger. They ended up letting him go to Madrid. He didn't want to leave. He just wanted better salary, better pay, but because he couldn't get it, then he ended up moving to Madrid where they could give him more money. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a career at the end of the day and you need to make money. So I would be excited to see Mpule coming to Chiefs, because mina ngiyange track record yakhe. I'll just trust the fact that he scored goal in a league that I think is relatively competitive. So let's see what happens, because it's just been offered and it's very public, which could be tricky, because now if it's offered publicly, because this announcement was done on Twitter of all places, it was done on Twitter, which means that every club saw this thing, so it could just incite a bidding war, which I don't think Chiefs want to be part of. But the only bright side, well, few bright side about this thing is that Chiefs has released a lot of players to accommodate salaries abantu, so it won't be so much about paying a transfer fee, but it's about covering his salary. And the teams that could compete with the Chiefs, I don't think Sundowns would want another striker. Maybe Pirates, and maybe Amazulu. But Amazulu now, they release players who are earning high salaries, and they've gotten a few people in. So sizobona ukuthi kwenzakalani, but mina I'm excited if it's a striker who can score goals. And this is not to say he uzofika ku-Chiefs and he will be on fire. This is just to say at least there's something that we can look into, and the fact that there's a relationship between the agency and as well the player. Now, speaking of umuntu was dominating in the Tanzanian league, now ngomunye wakamayele. This is what he says. He says, I still have 1 year left on my contract with Yanga. I'm preparing to go on a holiday in Lubumbashi, DRC, and we should conclude when I return. But I'll definitely be at Yanga next season. Sorry, that's that then. Alright? That's that. In the Bagamayele, it's gone. Useshil Gute will be at Yanga next season. And we've talked about this, haven't we? We talked about the fact that it's unlikely for him to leave for footballing reason. It would only be for financial reason. If he left Yanga this season, it would be because he wanted more money at Chiefs. Because if you're looking at what he's doing right now, Yanga, by the way, he was the second best goal scorer after Umpole. So that's another thing I wanted to say about Umpole. With this striker that we've apparently been chasing after is second best to someone else who's now a free agent that we can get for free. So maybe losing Umayele might not be such a big thing if there is cover somewhere else. If you can get Umpole, hopefully he's not ridiculous, and hopefully he will adapt to his styles at Chiefs. But then again, it raises questions. I know Nkuluma Umayele manje, but because they are both playing in the Tanzanian Premier League, it's like, why was Chiefs chasing after the second best striker, and that very second best striker is actually free, he still has a contract, and the best striker in that league is actually a free agent right now. Someone knocked on the door, they distracted me. Anyway, I'm saying, why was Chiefs chasing after the second best in Mayele and not the best, you know? So then it makes you think, oh, maybe njubekora mhlambe bekuyistory Scarlett swalo ukuthi maybe he was scoring more penalties, I don't know. But it makes you ask the question, why were they chasing after? Because even the age difference is not that much, so then you can't say it's because this one is young. So it might have to do with how they play and what they would bring into the team. But either way, if there's an available striker that we can get for free, that means we're not losing much money on a transfer. We can even sign him, like give him a 2-year contract, you know, just a short contract. But he get players at 29, I don't think Bamnig is a 2-year contract, you know. So we can see what we can do. If Nampela, it comes down to the fact that we are not getting any other signing. And yeah, I would go for him. Now, in the Bagamayele, just going back to him, Uguti, he will be definitely playing in Yanga next season, and there's nothing that I can say if Umdlale say Sholo and Guti, yeah, he'll be playing at Young. Because it's one thing when the agent says that, but now if a player usually comes out and says things like that, I know Guti, there are situations like Frankie de Jong, Guti says he wants to stay at Barcelona, but Barcelona wants money, so they might end up selling him to United although United is not even in the Champions League. Sorry, United fans, but it's that kind of a thing. It seems like it's done with this transfer, and maybe we can stop talking about it, and maybe the news that we'll hear are from Umpoli. Now, speaking of another transfer is Thabo. There was interest from Kaizer Chiefs, a great club, but an understanding between the parties had not yet been possible. So in the Bagam Gacele, obviously, as you know, Chiefs has been going after Ucele, and firstly they offered 1.68 million. They did not get into an agreement, and then Chiefs offered, I think, 3 million something, and still that's not good enough. And Umdlali and himself, Ucele, is focused on making an impression on his coach. So yeah, now Ucele looks more and more trickier than Kodisang, because at least to Kodisang there is a chance, but Ucele, it seems like Kodisang, there might be a chance he wants to come back. Now guys, I asked you this question last week: is Chiefs broke? And some people were even angry and getting offended, thinking I'm saying Chiefs is broke. I was merely asking a question, because Castro said this in his interview. He said maybe they said he needs to work with these players or whatever. The economy is also not right at the moment. Coach Arthur wanted to keep some players, and then the management said no. I know this doesn't say Chiefs is broke, but it says to me the players were not all released at the same time, which means they did not have negotiations with everyone and say, look, we can't have you are old and all that stuff or whatever. But they kept on just falling like dominoes, abawanga bonke at once. And it's possible, like Upaka, for instance, he left, and maybe Zwane wasn't planning to, because that's not how you let go of a club legend who's given you so many years of his life, and you don't even give him a proper farewell in front of the fans. So it's possible there was not enough money to accommodate everyone, and because of that they ended up releasing some players that Zwane would have otherwise have loved to have in the squad. I don't know who those players were. Probably like a Bacchus. I don't know. Most of you like Bacchus. But the question of the day, guys, that I want to ask you guys today is: do you think Chiefs should take a risk and sign Umpoli? It's a simple question. 29-year-old, is a striker, and he was a top goal scorer in a very competitive league, in a fairly competitive league in Tanzania. So, and in a Yanga and other good teams. So, is it a thing that you think Chiefs should do? Let me know down on the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you on the next one, and I appreciate you a lot. And until next time, remember, equals Alpelo Moy.